Good morning, friends and fellow traders. This is Doug Campbell with Right Way Options, and this is the morning market preparation video for August 16th, 2018. Well, my goodness, what a roller coaster ride this week has been. We clearly saw some heavy selling yesterday as nerves were really keyed up, and we pushed down. You can see the Dow here. The diamonds pushed down to 250 points or 25,000 on the Dow. We ended up finding that as a support. And this morning we are responding to news that the U.S. and China are going back to the trade negotiation table. And with that news, the market is once again giving us a complete overnight reversal, gapping up nearly 200 points this morning, at least at the moment, with well, with this roller coaster ride, anything is possible. So my goodness, what a whip that this is. For example, the Dow from low to where we're opening this morning is going to be 400 to 425 points. That's a complete reversal of 400 to 425 points. From the low. I mean, it's remarkable. Flipping back and forth. Now, please keep in mind that anytime we gap up that strongly, we always have to watch for and be prepared for the potential of really big price swings. We can see price action be very, very fast. We can see whipsaws are very likely this morning, so watch that closely and be very, very careful how you decide to trade this market, because it's pretty wild. And anything is possible. Now, if U.S. and China do come to some kind of agreement, that would be great, and the market would probably respond very bullishly to that. But remember, all they've done is agree to come back to the table. There's no indication that a deal is done. So please keep in mind that we could see this emotion flip the other direction very quickly if all of a sudden tariff threats start being tossed around and the trade negotiations fail. So keep that in mind. We're not out of the woods here. But the good news is, bullishly, we're moving higher here. Now, let's take a look. Let's remove all the emotion of this, which is very difficult to do in this kind of a market. And keep in mind that here's our downtrend currently in the diamonds. And notice that we have a resistance level right here. So this morning, we're gapping up very, very close to this resistance level. So watch that close. We don't want to be buying stocks at resistance. We want to be selling stocks at resistance, meaning taking profits, looking for short trades. We want to be really careful in chasing such a big morning move this morning. So watch that closely. Be very, very careful on how you decide you're going to approach this day. Let's take a look at the SPY. Oops, excuse me. The SPY also showing substantial gap up this morning, but let's keep in mind that if we remove all the emotion and really take a close look at the overall market, we can see that we still have some things to deal with. So first off, there is that uptrend line and a place where we actually put in this lower high failure right here. Okay, and this morning all we're doing is we're rallying back up to test this level again as resistance. So keep that in mind. Now, this could create a very bullish trading pattern. If you look at a 3-day pattern called a morning star, if this is strong enough today, this could create that morning star pattern close enough to this support that it could be a very valid signal to go higher. So we're going to have to watch this price action closely today. And if we get more whipsaws today, it could really add a lot of complication to what we're seeing in price. Let's take a look at the Qs. Those Qs held up a lot stronger than the other indexes, even though they did show some selling. But if we use this as current trend, we have a low, a higher low here, and we tested that area and we held on to it by the end of the day. Now the Qs are gapping up, but not showing nearly as much gap up this morning. A little bit of a challenge here, not following through as much as the other indexes, so watch that close as well. Tech stocks seem to be just having this really struggle going on in them, and confidence seems to be a little bit lacking here. Let's take a look at IWM. IWM, big move down yesterday and held that move down yesterday. Didn't respond back up like the other indexes. However, this morning we are getting a bit of a gap up on all this energy, gapping up here. So is there any real clues here? Well, what we do have to deal with here is we are currently, you see, we failed up here several times, and now we have this downtrend possibly in play. We have price supports down in this area on this chart, so we're kind of just shaking around this upper level. Haven't really got a commitment to go one direction or the other. So I think what we could be doing is actually forming this wedge pattern where we we're winding around in this area with lower highs and higher lows, and we could be forming up into a wedge. Now, a wedge pattern like this can break either direction, so you want to watch that closely. Let's take a look at the VIX. The VIX, boy, is going to get some whiplash today. The VIX did do its job yesterday, or I should say resistance did do its job yesterday. We spiked up here at one point during the day, but resistance rejected that and pushed that fear back down. Now, I suspect this morning we're going to see this whip lower and open lower this morning. So, boy, we're getting pretty wild in here. And that can also be a clue to potential issues coming in the market when we start seeing all of this high volatility challenging traders, particularly near new market highs. It makes you wonder just a little bit if we're kind of running out of gas for an upside move, and if there might be some troubles ahead. Don't want to be predictive of that in any way, shape, or form. I'm going to trade the price action. But when I start seeing that volatility really start to swing around like this, that means there's some uncertainty in the market and a little bit of concern. So just be careful on how much risk you carry forward in this market. Let's take a look at T21 22. T21 22, the 4-week new high, new low ratio. Yesterday we pushed down here toward the bottom side, but we obviously have not reached all the way down here to our bullish reversal zone. And I suspect this morning we're going to see this move sharply higher. So once again, just some real challenges here. Now, what will be interesting is if we can break above this. If we can break above that little downtrend, maybe the breadth of the market will actually increase here just a little bit. And if we can get that breadth back, we can maybe see some stronger price action versus all of this really whippy chop. It's yet to be seen, but we're certainly likely to rise up here sharply today on T21 22 without any really clear levels in this chart. Let's take a look at the economic calendar. Economic calendar, we have three big reports this morning. We have housing starts. Now, housing starts fell pretty sharply last month. They are expected to also decline a little bit this month, but what's interesting is permits are expected to increase. So we'll have to watch that number, and that market can move the market around pretty substantially. Weekly jobless claims, they're expected to continue to stay very strong as labor stays very strong. Maybe ticking up just slightly this week, but certainly nothing that changes the overall flavor of the market is just being very, very strong in labor demand. And then the Philly Fed business outlook has been extremely strong, and they're expecting that to stay strong, albeit maybe slip back just a tiny little bit, or leaving some of the pressure on some of these businesses. But right now, everything is looking good. After that, we have the natural gas report, a couple of bond announcements, and the Fed balance sheet and money supply. None of those are expected to move the market today. On the earnings calendar, my goodness, we have, even though earnings season is kind of winding down, we have a considerable number of earnings today, over 50 companies reporting earnings, and some big players reporting earnings. We've already received earnings reports from Walmart. You can see Walmart gapping substantially higher, almost $10 higher, indicated this morning at the open. And so keep an eye on that. There's quite a few reports coming. And after the bell today, we will have companies like AMAT reporting. We have NVIDIA reporting. So lots of kind of big name companies reporting. So we'll want to stay focused on that price action. So everyone, I want to wish you all a fantastic day. I want to wish you great profits. And if this is the first time you've seen these videos, please do me a favor. Click that subscribe button on YouTube and the follow me button on Facebook. Click those thumbs up buttons and drop a comment. And always, always, always feel free to share this video with any friends and family. Everyone, take care. Have an awesome day. I wish you great profits. And we'll talk to you all again very, very soon, bright and early Friday morning. Take care now.